Hello, 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 beautiful unicorns. How are you all doing today on this awesome, awesome Monday? Yana, Kasperczak, your spiritual awakening core energy coach, and my life's purpose is to help you get your shit together so you can break free from the mental prison that you find yourself in and live a fulfilling life that you're proud of and excited to wake up to every single day and get going and get that shit done so you can be successful in your life, in your business, and your career. So today, first of all, let me know how the sound is, because I have these headphones on today. Listening to music, and then I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna keep going with these headphones and see how the sound is on the video, if it makes it nice and clear perhaps. And as you can tell, I don't have all of my shackles on today. You know, the bracelets, the rings, the earrings. One of those days where I'm just like, I need a minute, so to speak. So I've been spending most of my day, most of my morning in reflection, going through my own internal healings. As things come up in life, we can't ignore them. It's important to spend the time to understand what our triggers are and what they mean and why they come up and why we're dealing with it, and not avoid it and not ignore it. So this is how I spent my morning up until now. So, and the animal spirit is going to let us know a bit more of where we currently are, as I imagine every one of you beautiful ladies that's in this group, especially the name that it is here for your own emotional healing and spiritual growth. And these cards have been amazing in helping all of us to do that. Hey Lisa, how are you doing, beautiful? Thank you. Lisa said, hey beautiful. Thank you, beautiful. I'm doing good, figuring things out as I go, as we all do, getting my shit together. As we all are, right? That's something that continues to be part of the journey for every single human being. We're figuring things out, because as we figure something out, something new comes in, and we gotta figure that out, something new comes in, and then we gotta figure that out, something new comes in. So it's constant journey of personal growth and evolution. Hey April, how are you doing, beautiful? So let's see what these cards have for us today. Ooh, fish. I believe that's an earth sign as well. Let me move these extra cards out of the way. This looks like a koi fish to me. Makes me think of stop being coy and stop pretending to be someone you're not. Stop keeping yourself silent and say what you want to say. Don't hold your truth back just because it's easier temporarily to keep yourself quiet, to keep your mouth quiet, to not say what you want to say, because fish don't speak, right? And we're not meant to be silent. We're meant to express ourselves, because this is what's going to happen. Good morning, Laura. That the more we stay silent, the more we don't say what we want to say, the more we're going to learn what we should be saying for the sake of someone else, and the more we start to lose ourselves and our identity. And that does not feel good for any one of us. None of us want to be a silent fish. All of us want to be able to speak. All of us want to be seen, heard, felt, and understood, and supported, and not judged. So that's where I sense this fish is here for. Let's open this up and see what else it has for us. Let me find where it is, because it's not in exactly in order. Here we go. Fish. So if you want to take a screenshot and read it later or keep it for yourself later, go right ahead and do that. Okay. Fish. Relentless change of focus, lost in the current. It's time to find your way. It's time to get laser focused and not follow the shiny objects, because there's so many shiny objects, and each and every day there's more and more and more and more shiny objects being added into our field, into our awareness, that we need to become a lot more focused to not say yes to this, not say yes to that, and not follow this shiny thing and or that shiny thing. And I'm also speaking from my experience, is that I follow the shiny things, the shiny objects, the shiny promises, these easy fixes throughout I feel like most of my life. And once I started becoming aware of, that's not what successful people do. Hey Laura, hey Jennifer, hello beautiful ladies. Thank you for hopping on here and saying hello. And then Rebecca said, going to watch replay, I made a mistake and drank wine yesterday and now I feel sick. Ooh, yeah, I feel you on that one. I mean, not today, but I've been there, I've done that. So it's important for us to navigate our life our way and understand what is it that we want from our life, and to focus on the things that are meant to be for us. And like I started saying, that I spent quite a bit of my life chasing all the shiny objects, following this thing, following that thing, following this trend, following that trend, to start recognizing that successful people don't do that. Successful people don't follow trends, they create them. They don't follow this next shiny object because they know what their goals and dreams are, and they know what their values, they know their priorities, and they know what fits into all of that, because they also know who they are, what fits into who they are and who they're trying to move towards and become, and what doesn't. And sometimes all of us need that reminder. For me, this is a reminder today as well, is not to follow the shiny objects. Sometimes the shiny objects actually are not so shiny, to be quite honest. Sometimes the shiny object could be an irritant in your life. It could be a trigger in your life where some emotion has been brought up and now you're dealing with it. So sometimes those things are the things that take us off course. Those things are that change our focus. And sometimes change of the focus is a positive thing, and sometimes it's not. It's just figuring out, sometimes sitting with it and following it to see if it's meant to be for you, or recognizing that it's not, it is just a distraction and it's taking me away from what is most important right now. It's looking at it in a way of, life is full of tests and full of exams. And when we say we want something in life and want to experience something in life, we're going to be given a lot of opportunities to experience it, but even more opportunities to prove to ourselves and to the universe that we actually want it, which means distractions, which come through as shiny objects and not so shiny objects or experiences. So that's a little bit of the fish. The fish loves to be subsumed in life's current. Nothing pleases it more than movement, and more movement. It doesn't sit still. Even wintertime, we have koi fish in the pond in the backyard, and we don't take them out. They stay there, and they don't stop moving. But what they do is they slow down, because their metabolism slows down. They aren't, and because it's also colder, that they slow down, but they never stop moving. The roaming lifestyle of the fish may be exhilarating for a while, but usually leads to weariness and slippery relationships. Meaning that it might be fun to keep going and going and going and doing and doing and doing and not pausing and slow down, which is actually the masculine energy, being and living in the masculine energy that keeps going, getting things done, achievements, accomplishments, completion of things, whereas the feminine is being. It's sitting still. It's going within. It's understanding oneself, listening to oneself, trusting oneself, and not doing, but just being. So finding that balance for you on day-to-day basis, because it's not going to be the same every single day. It's going to change. It's supposed to change. As you continue to change and evolve each and every day, who you are and who you're being will continue to do that. It will continue to change every single day. So you can become the version that you want to become, that you dream of becoming, that you work towards becoming. And you get to do that every single day. Some days you will spend more time doing and getting things done and feeling on fire. And other days you will spend more time being and going within. And you will find yourself beating yourself up for believing at your core that you're not good enough, that you're not deserving, that you're not doing enough. Because the deep down programming that you have at your roots is your self-worth is based on how much you do and accomplish. Otherwise, you're a peasant. That's the word that comes to mind. A feeling like we're not good enough, we're not worthy because I'm not getting all these things done, I'm not checking things off my list, I'm not doing enough, I'm not achieving enough, feeling not enough, which is the masculine coming through when you are supposed to be in your feminine. But when you allow yourself to be in your feminine, to be, which means not to do, is when you start to really understand who you are, why you are, and what are you supposed to be doing. Because some of the things that you are doing every single day because you feel like you have to, or you need to, or else, or because you want to, and you might start to recognize by spending time with yourself and understanding yourself that some of those things you're not meant to do, that you would much rather do something else instead, and change your focus, and change your current, which is change your direction, and swim the other way. Perhaps this whole time you might have been swimming upstream, and that's why it feels impossible. And you're just meant to recalibrate your focus, recalibrate yourself, and then allow yourself to swim downstream, because it's so much easier than going against the stream. But that's not to say that, following the crowd and doing what everybody else is doing is what you're supposed to be doing and blending in and fitting in. Because yeah, it might sound easy, but it's not going to bring you to where you want to be. It's going to bring you to where your programming wanted to be, where you are expected to be, and not where you actually want to be. So recognizing the difference between fitting in and blending in, and at the same time standing out and being yourself, so you can live your life and not the life that somebody else has rewritten for you in a way. With all the possibilities out there in the vast waters, the fish becomes lost without clear goals and intentions. Spend some time with the lunar forces, dear fish, as the peace and calm of the moon will soothe your soul. As I was saying, spend some time in your feminine. Instead of having to do and accomplish these things, spend the time in your feminine by being, and perhaps starting to recognize that you might have been swimming downstream and just following everything that was programmed into you to do this, to do this, to do that, in order for you to live the life that you quote unquote are meant to live. To follow a certain type of standard, certain type of rules, in order for you to be accepted by society. And I refer to this living life of acceptance by society, and acceptance and or living up to somebody else's standards and somebody else's expectations, unconsciously, living with that programming and not going against that programming that you have, which means this, basically what we've been talking about today, is that the programming dictates that you busy yourself, that you ignore your pains, you ignore your hurts, you don't deal with it, you busy yourself, you distract yourself. You go to work, you work 9 to 5, you get your paycheck, you don't complain about it, and the next day you come in and you do that again and again and again, and you don't question it, you don't ask for what you believe you're worth, because you might not even know your worth, because all of us have been programmed to go get a job, and our new employer tells us how much we're worth, and we just agree with it, and we say, okay, $13 an hour, great, thanks. $15, $20 per hour, okay, great, thanks. And slave away, work and work and work and work without much joy at the end of it. Where what we do recognize, what I recognize through my experiences working for the corporate world, is that we're all disposable. No matter how much value we add to the company, that in the end, we're all replaceable and disposable. Yeah, it'll take them some time to retrain someone else. They definitely won't find the same person again, but they'll damn well try. And in the end, they still won't find the same person. But what will happen is, when you give all of your time away for whatever you and your employer agreed upon, that in the end, you're not going to feel any better about yourself. Because when it comes time to ask for a raise, more often than not, you will be told no, without an explanation, sometimes with an explanation. And I hear this from women quite often. And it makes them feel bad that, hey, I've given all of myself. I do more than what's asked. And I give and I give and I give. But when it comes time for me to ask for something, I get nothing. I'm told no. It doesn't feel good. So in the end, she learns to accept it. Accept the fact that somebody else dictates her self-worth. And how we do one thing is how we do everything. Then little by little, she starts noticing that she allows her friends, her parents, her partner, even a stranger, to dictate what her self-worth is, and not questioning it anymore. Because the last time she questioned it, she got hurt. So instead of questioning things, she has learned to be a good girl and not say anything, not question it, just take it. Just be okay with it. Just be thankful for it. Just be grateful for it. Instead of saying, no, I'm worth much more than that. No, thank you. And setting a new standard, new boundary of what her self-worth is with everyone, including herself, because you got to start with yourself before you can expect somebody else to say it and to agree with it. So, when in balance, adaptive and travels well, which means the road is smooth, get things done, not many obstacles. when out of balance, distracted, changes mind often, follows those shiny objects, and gets easily distracted, not following through perhaps on certain things that she either wanted to complete or needs to complete. To bring to balance, set a small goal and accomplish it. Do something. Pick one thing that is going to make you feel good. That is a mini goal, and get it done and accomplish it. And then maybe you can set another mini goal and do that and accomplish it. And the last thing I want to add to how we can use our feminine and work through whatever it is that worries us. Because all of us, we have worries. All of us, we have things that scare us and make us uncomfortable. Is setting aside time for worrying. Setting aside time for thinking. Many people refer to this as journaling, but it does not necessarily need to involve an actual journal. It is just you sitting with your thoughts, with your worries, and hearing them for what they are. I do recommend having a journal or a piece of paper to write those worries down so you can see them for what they are. It's easier to see them outside of our head than inside of our head, because inside of our head, they can just spin us out. But setting that time aside every day, you can call it journaling. You can call it thinking time. You can call it pondering time. You can call it brain dumping time. That's what I refer to it as, brain dumping. Getting what's in my brain and dump it out on a piece of paper. You can call it worrying time. You can call it processing time. You can call it whatever you want to call it that gets you a little bit excited about having that time carved out for yourself to do some thinking and reflecting on anything that you're worrying about, anything that you're stressing about, anything that is an energy drain for you. So spend that time with yourself. Call it something that you're going to be excited to do, excited to follow through on it for yourself. For me, like I said, brain dumping. To me, that sounds fun. Dump my brain. Funny. And if you grow in your business, like many of you are, when you're spending time interacting with people and connecting with people, calling that time something that will get you to want to do it. For me, it's funny, it's humorous. But if somebody saw the name of this notebook, where I just write names of the people I had a conversation with. And sometimes I forget to write the names of the people I had a conversation with. But somebody just saw the name of this book, they would question it and be like, ooh, that sounds wrong. And it does sound wrong. So, but to me, it was humorous because when I came up with that name, I was really, really, really struggling to show up not only for myself, but for the people who needed me. I was struggling to return messages. I was struggling to reach out to people. I was struggling to even go back to comments and interact with human beings because of the messaging and the stories that I was carrying. So for me, coming up with a title for these books, for these notebooks, for me to show up for myself, I needed to be fun and humorous. So part of me wants to say what it is, and the other part of me is like, don't say it, people will judge, because it's so wrong. And knowing what I know about the title, it definitely is wrong. So I might end up going back to change it to a different title, because at that time it was humorous, but now it's not so much so. Yeah. So let me see what the comments are, because I see quite a few of you have been interacting. Lisa said, right, trying to separate my own journey while dealing with all his new health twists. Self-caring self-caring is so important. I did respectfully express how I am escaping myself, swimming in my own direction. Feel better. Shyness can lead to plummeting and toxicity. Oh, 100%. And I'm glad that you're recognizing yourself and you are learning to set some sort of boundaries as well. That's what I'm hearing as well. Separating your own journey while dealing with all of your men's health twists as well is important, because if we get tied in to everybody else's journeys, that we lose ourselves in there, because we become everything for everyone else and there's no time left for ourselves. And that's why it's important to recognize ourselves in the midst of things as much as we can, and then to give ourselves time to reflect so we can recognize a little bit more as we're going through things, or as we are slowly starting to step away, and not make it about us, and at the same time helping the other person in the ways that we can help without it taking away from ourselves and our own journey. And self-caring is so important, as you said, Lisa. I did respectfully express how I am escaping myself, swimming in my own direction. Great. Keep swimming in your own direction. And others will try to get you to swim in their direction, but that would just mean that you have to start putting yourself further away from yourself and your journey and allow others to dictate what is best for you, whereas only you know what's best for you and no one else. Good morning, Kelly. How are you doing, beautiful? Staying true to yourself. Complex is the most rewarding. The result polish your soul. Yes, 100%, Lisa. And then Laura said, the challenges will come, the distractions, the obstacles. We distract ourselves and procrastinate easily enough without help. So true. So true, Laura. That procrastinating on things that are important to us, it's almost expected, especially from good girls, because it means it's for her and not for someone else. And then Laura says, focus on the donut and not the hole. My late husband used to say, interesting. That's true. Even though we have Tim Hortons and they sell donut holes, which is Timbits. So there's some people who love the Timbits and there's some people who love the donuts. And when it comes to life, focusing on the actual donut and the actual bigger picture versus the small little donut hole. That's an interesting saying. I haven't heard that one before. Thank you for sharing it. And then Laura said, so true. We feel like we have to do all this stuff and be all these things for everyone else. Yeah. And we trick ourselves into thinking we can be good enough by trying to take care of everyone else, and make everyone else happy. Putting everybody else's needs, wants, dreams, desires first before our own, because we have been programmed to, I'll be happy when you're happy. I'll be happy when you're happy. I'll be happy when you're happy. But instead, I'll be happy when I'm happy. And what does my happiness mean to me? What do I gotta do to make me happy? And then when I'm happy, everybody else around me will be happy as well. And I'm not responsible for everybody else's happiness, because if I'm responsible for everybody else's happiness, who's responsible for mine? No one. Everybody's responsible for their own happiness, for their own journey. And if life is not working out in the way that it's meant to, instead of deflecting and saying, who's at fault here? Who ruined my life? We're meant to go within and see, how did I contribute to the life that I have right now? And what can I do about it now to change it, to be the life that I want it to be? instead of blaming everybody else. When we're blaming somebody else, what we're doing is we're giving our power away. We're telling them that we're not in control, that we're not in charge, that they are. And when we're not taking care of our own happiness, we're saying, nobody else is responsible for my happiness. And I'm not happy when you're not happy. Our happiness cannot depend on somebody else's happiness. Because when they're not happy, you're not going to be happy. When they're happy, you're going to be happy, but you're still going to be questioning it. Did I do enough? Can I do more? What else can I do to make sure that they're even happier? It becomes a default program that you already have, but it becomes a more prominent one that at this point you start to recognize that it's not serving you anymore. That you don't want to follow the current. You don't want to necessarily go with the flow, but you do want to go with the flow, but still a little bit to the side, and maybe sometimes against the current, because you are here paving your own path and not having somebody else pave the path for you, and expecting your life to be better and for everything to change only if they change. And then the rest of the message or comment that Laura said, in the end, when we are truly happy, the people around us are genuinely blessed by our energy. 100%. 100%. That energy travels and they feel our happiness and joy, and it transfers on to them. Even if they're not 100% happy yet, they start to feel it. And then Laura said, I'll read the last comment and then I'll hop off. That's so helpful, Yana. We all have our worries, and I have been fighting those thoughts instead of giving them attention and reflecting on them. Also, it helps us to get it out instead of stuffing it in. Thank you. And I'm so glad to hear that it was helpful, because I want everyone to become more aware of what you just said, Laura, that instead of fighting those thoughts, giving them attention. It's like a screaming child. It's the part of you that's the child you that has not healed yet, that needs love and attention and support, needs to be heard, seen, and understood. And that's why those worries and those thoughts keep spiraling. And instead of locking her in her room, trying to shush her, and pound music really loud and distract yourself from, oh, there's a screaming child. Let them scream. They'll get over it. They'll fall asleep. They'll forget it. They'll get over it. No, ends up coming back worse than it was before, because now this child is in so much pain and agony, because every time she tried to speak up, every time she tried to say something, and voice her opinion and be seen, heard, and understood, what we believed was the right approach as good girls was to ignore her, put her to the side, and get busy and distract ourselves. Whereas by this point, most of you know that is not how we heal our emotions. That is not how we grow spiritually, by avoiding it and not dealing, not confronting it. We heal and we grow spiritually through understanding ourselves. And the way we understand ourselves is through our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, through understanding our program of who we are right now, or who we're being right now, and recognizing that this is not who I am, that who I am is so much better than this. I can do better. I can be better. So what does that better mean? What does that better look like? What does that better feel like? And then doing or implementing those small little changes, not all at once, but those small little changes every single day, little by little, so we can be our true authentic self and be happy and proud with who we are, instead of trying to please everyone around us. We're trying to apologize for things that we shouldn't be apologizing for, because this is one very, very loud, clear way how we can tell when someone is a good girl, that she apologizes for things, sometimes nonstop, profusely, just to make the other person happy, just to let's move on and forget and forgive, instead of let's talk about it, let's understand each other through this process so this doesn't happen again. And I lived a lot of my life just apologizing and forgive and forget, and let's move on. I watched my daughter do the same thing, and now I'm proud to say that neither one of us is just apologizing for the sake of apologizing, that we were both taking the time to be seen, heard, and understood. Maybe not fully understood, but at least to be seen and heard, and validated and supported as much as we can be with each other and with other people in our life as well. That it's not just right away, let's, I'm sorry, and not even knowing what you're apologizing for, because what you're apologizing for is because you don't like confrontation and you don't like to dwell on things, and you don't want this to keep going. You just want it to end. But in the end, what's happening, if you are in that place of your life, when you just apologize for things just so, there can be peace, but peace is not going to exist when you don't actually deal with the root cause. And the root cause will be your unhealed trauma, your unhealed feelings and emotions, your unhealed stories, your unhealed blocks. So, yeah. What I'm saying is brain dumping. Take the time to write in your word journal what your worries are, what your thoughts are, what you're going through, what you're dealing with, to see it right in front of you. Some of these things will make you cry. They're meant to. While other things will make you laugh and you'll say, oh my God, this is so stupid. This doesn't make any sense. Really? This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. That's so stupid. In a way, belittling yourself, but at the same time, recognizing that the thought process, that worry that you have, that actually it has no life, it doesn't exist outside of your body, that it's just within you. And by you continuing to dwell on it and not getting it out, it becomes this big, massive monster that can breathe, can exist outside of you. So, how was that? Food for thought. Maybe call it that in the journal, food for thought. That might be helpful as well. Welcome back, Rebecca. Programmed to bypass our emotions. Yes, that's a great way of calling it. That we are programmed to bypass our emotions, to ignore our basic needs. Our emotions are our needs trying to express themselves. And we were taught, now hopefully we're teaching you here through these stream of videos, not just the card reading, but all the other videos that do, whether it's story time with Yana Kasperczak, or Get Your Shit Together weekly life guidance with Yana Kasperczak, or even Heal the Unicorn podcast that Bethany and I do on Wednesdays. All of these videos that we do are hopefully helping you to start understanding that your emotions are the part of you that need attention and care and love. So by bypassing them, you are just following the program. And you're not meant to follow the program. You're meant to break free from the program. Watch The Matrix. Choose the pill that you want. If you continue to bypass your emotions, then you choose what pill. And if you choose to go against the default program and create your own program, or create your own mold of the good girl, then what pill are you choosing? The choice is yours. The choice is all of ours, to follow along and do what we were told to do what we've been programmed to do, or to break free from it, and find ourselves outside of the programming and create our own program and our own destiny. Because if we follow the program, that destiny will be the same as everyone else who's following it. And that is pain, suffering, despair, a lot of guilt and shame, a lot of unhappiness, little to no joy, lack of fulfillment, and perhaps no purpose or very little purpose, or feeling, what was the phrase here? Lost in the current. Restlessness, right? Lost in the current, where you just lost and confused and can't seem to find your footing. So that's what happens when you follow the program. When you break through that default program, which, by the way, is very hard to do on your own. I don't do this on my own. I have experts that help me. I have coaches that help me through breaking through my programming as well, in the ways that they know how, and the ways that I bring up, and I work through, and I uncover, and then they uncover through the uncovering. That is when we start to live the life that we want to live. When we choose ourselves every single day. It's not something that you do once in a while or when you feel in the mood. It's something that you must choose every single day. You must choose to swim against the stream so you can find yourself. So you can swim against, find this mountain that you as a fish must climb, and then jump there to that next level of your evolution, instead of just following the flow. And at the same time, following the flow and going with the current, what I mean when I say that is trusting the process, not beating yourself up, not questioning too much and yet questioning everything, finding that balance, and choosing yourself every single day, doing the uncomfortable thing. Initially, it will be uncomfortable to choose yourself every day, to make sure that you have time for yourself every single day, no matter how busy your life is, to do the things that are important to you, to do the things that help you to grow and evolve, and not what works for everybody else in your life. Of course, it's going to be hard. Everything that's worthwhile is hard. And everything that's easy, that's questionable. Definitely questionable. I know I said I was going to read the last comment, but thank you. Spiritual bypass, Rebecca said, and then Laura said, shine a light on the darkness. Yes, shine a light on the darkness, on your own darkness of what you're going through. And then Laura said, I have a terrible habit of apologizing for things I have nothing to do with or control over, because you're a good girl. Because you were taught this is what good girls do. They apologize so everybody can just move on and the healing can start. But the healing does not start until both parties are seen, heard, and understood. And that means I hear what you're saying, I hear, but this is what we're listening to. Okay, so next time you have a disagreement with someone, or you have a confrontational conversation with someone, and I'll read the other comments afterwards and I'll respond to them through commenting, going to the thing. So the next time you are facing a conversation with someone, I want you to listen to these parts of what they're saying. When people talk to us, they tell us who they are. So I want you to listen to who they are. They will tell you how they see themselves based on the words they use, based on how they talk and communicate. If they use words to put you down, that means they're doing that to themselves. If they also will tell you what they want and what they need. based on what they're saying, they'll express their needs, their wants, their desires. So it's important to start actually listening and hearing what the other person is saying, to understand more of who they are. As I say very often, that if we just pause and listen to people, we will get to hear and understand who that person is, alongside of what they need, what they want, what they dream of, what their pain points are, what their desires are, everything that makes a person, their values as well. If we listen, we will hear that through conversation. And by doing that, we then are given the opportunity to validate them, but not at the expense of ourselves. So when Laura, you were talking about apologizing, this is in a way a form of, I validate you, I hear you, understand you, I'm sorry. Just to put a band-aid on it. Instead of, let's have a conversation so I can really understand what you're trying to tell me and understand you at your core, in your heart, who you are, and your roots of what your traumas are, what you're trying to heal from. Help me understand your programming, your default programming that all of us run on. And we get to understand it when we become aware of it in the moment. And we get to rewrite it if we choose to. And at the same time, more often than not, we will choose to procrastinate on dealing with what's coming up. Another form of avoidance, procrastinating. So in hopes of something else or someone else will come and fix it for me. Where it ain't gonna happen. We gotta be the ones to change. And if we want our life to change, if we want people in our life to change, it's not them, it's you, it's me. It's not my kids, it's me. It's not my friends, it's me. It's not my parents, it's me. I like to remind myself that whenever I catch myself, and I rarely catch myself at this point blaming anyone. For me, it also has been my default program to blame myself for everything and see my own fault in it. And this is one of the reasons why, as a good girl, I would apologize for everything and anything, because I was trained and conditioned to look at my fuck ups, what I did wrong, and by doing that, I would basically forgive everyone else for their part in it. Whereas starting to recognize that not everything is my fault. It takes two. And when I'm blaming someone else, the conditioning is always there, and I believe at its core, it is very powerful. It's just now switching to I'm at fault and I'm to blame for everything is my fault, to no. I want to see the full picture. What part did this person play on what has transpired, and what part did I play on what has transpired? Because my part is easy to see. What's harder is to see the other party, and not using that as now everything is your fault, because I easily can be confused and switched over to that. Everything is your fault. But okay, I see what you did. What can I learn from what you did, what your part that you played in this movie, in this scene? And what part did I play? And how can we talk about the parts, the roles that we played, and help each other grow and evolve from this point on to, as I said, hear who you are, what you want, what you need. What need is this person trying to express to me right now? What desire are they trying to express to me at this point right now? Who are they? Like, what's the question? Who are they saying that they are based on this interaction right now? What was their childhood like based on what they have just said to me right now? What trauma might this person be carrying based on what has just been said to me? Just to name a few questions. So anyways, other than that, thank you everybody for being on here with me. Thank you, beautiful ladies. Laura, Rebecca was on here, Kelly was on here, Lisa, Jennifer, April, and I saw a couple of other ladies hop on as well. So thank you everybody on being on here, and thank you for all of you silent watchers as well. I am one of the silent watchers myself. When I watch something, I don't always comment because I am so zoned in on learning the lessons that I don't always comment. So I hear you, I see you, I understand you, but I do also invite you to just at least say hello, say hi, or share your biggest takeaway at the end of the video, at the end of this card reading that we did today. You know, it's always more than just a card reading with me. I know I'm extra, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And those people who don't like the extra are typically not part of my life. And I encourage each and every one of you to approach your life in a similar way, where if someone does not accept you and you keep trying, stop trying. Because in the trying, what you're going to do, you're going to lose yourself. And you're not meant to lose yourself. You're meant to find yourself. And it's like they're trying to hold you back and become your anchor. And you don't want to be the anchor. You want to be the kite that's flying. And they can just help by holding you at the bottom so you can fly however high you want to fly. So, you're not too much. You're not extra. You're not too sensitive. Too much of anything, the word too much, to this, to that, does not exist. It's just, you are sensitive, and you're meant to be. You are a lot, and you're meant to be. You're not meant to be kept in a jar, in a box. You're meant to be a lot. A lot of you. And those who don't resonate and understand the a lot of you, they're free to go and find another cup of tea. And you will find your people. Your people will find you. So, trust the process. Don't hold yourself back. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, perhaps we shall see you tomorrow on our Sacred Circle that Bethany and I host. Tomorrow, Bethany will be hosting, where she will be doing a cacao ceremony or meditation, breath work. And yeah, so that'll be tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, or I'll see you tomorrow live on my personal page for story time with myself, Yana Kasperczak, where I'll bring you a story and give you another spiel, another lesson and guidance and story to go along with what we're talking about. Many of these things during story time are based on the coachings that I have with women and their journeys, their stories, without sharing any details, of course, and even simply the questions that they sometimes bring to the session. But other than that, thank you, everybody. And just a quick reminder, those of you who are interested in Heal the Good Girl Quest, which is a 6-week program that I will be taking women through, the doors to sign up close tonight at right before midnight, so 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you are still interested and want to sign up, make sure you go and do that. The link is on the pinned post at the very top, or you can go on my personal page, and it's the pinned post right there on top, the first one, for everyone to make it easy for everyone to find it. But other than that, until we see each other next time, bye everybody.